Yeah, stick to basics. Complicated kind of exercises, they're not really necessary, especially if you're not trying to train for bodybuilding, athletics. Yeah, so stick to basics. Knowledge really plays a big role. You just can't come to the gym one day and start lifting everything you find. There is repercussion in it. We are all made differently, built differently, nature-wise. So what this other person can do might be so difficult for you. It doesn't matter how simple it might look.
Welcome everyone to the Shujaa Fitcast. We are here again with another episode, hopefully giving you more value, giving you more insight, inspiration, and hopefully some teachable moments when it comes to your fitness goals. This show is here to help you learn, to inspire you, and hopefully demystify fitness for what it really is. And we seek to do that by having engaging conversations with local fitness professionals, people with a background in anything to do with health, wellness, fitness. We want to have these conversations and pick their brains, see their perspective, learn from them, see what they have to offer as well in terms of their services, their business, and just get a sense for who we have in the studio at the time. Today we are really honored to have another trainer in the business. I want to welcome QQ Fitness, aka Ineah. And we connected just recently, and I'm really grateful for everyone who's obliged to come through the studio. So thank you so much for making the time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I really appreciate. We are here to see what QQ has to offer as a trainer, learn from him, and hopefully get a better sense of what it takes to maintain a fitter and happier life. So I hope this helps you, and sit back and enjoy the conversation. So QQ, karibu sana.
Shukurani sana.
Yeah,
much appreciations.
Yeah, man. Goal of this show is to help people out there to learn more about fitness. You're a personal trainer. We'll start by just getting a sense of what got you into fitness in the first place. What's your journey been like from day one to where you are now?
First of all, viewers, let me start by introducing myself. Myself is Ineah Mukhwana, alias Trainer QQ, and it's a privilege to be here today. Basically, what I do on a regular basis, I'm a personal trainer, currently located around Westlands. So what really made me venture into fitness, first of all, as I said there before, I come from a background whereby we are more of sports. My mother used to be a boxer back in the days. Her brothers used to be boxers as well, which made them get employed. One of her brothers is employed in the Kenya prisons, as a result of sports, which is boxing.
Okay.
So that really made it much interesting while we were growing up with my siblings. In high school, sports used to be very interesting for me personally. I used to play football back in the days. It reached a point whereby things started going south. At around Form 2, I think things started going south in terms of skills, speed. I think it was about that time.
Or you just weren't reaching that potential, or what do you mean?
I don't know what happened. Because one day, I remember I used to be a striker. It reached a point whereby, I think, lack of interest.
Oh, okay.
Let me say lack of interest. Since then, boxing started to chip in. Became so much into boxing. I used to go for boxing tournaments and see how these guys are doing. And the support of mom back at home really made it much interesting. So through that, I ventured into boxing. Went to a couple of competitions. Won. I won 7 competitions, lost 1, which was the last one, which then revolutionized everything and made me start weight training.
Okay.
Yeah. 1 year down the line, I ventured into bodybuilding. Na thankful or through luck, I happened to have won in my category, which was I think welter.
Welterweight. Okay.
Welterweight. Yeah, I went to a certain competition which was under 22. Na luckily I happened to have won our category, which really made it much interesting. Na in terms of passion, which made me passionate about lifting weights, because I could easily see results. I think my genetics are so good to some extent when it comes to weightlifting, which made it much easier, especially because seeing results becomes a very good motivating factor.
Yeah, for sure.
To most people.
Yeah, with everything.
Yeah. So that really made me venture into fitness. Through that, it really made me want to get more knowledge about fitness in general, which made me go back to school. Did a diploma in fitness science. But before then, I had gotten an admission letter to Kenyatta University to do sports administration and management. I was a bit reluctant because by that time, I was thinking that it wasn't something that I was willing to do, especially the complications, exams, whatnot. Years later, I decided to do sports science, which really revolutionized everything again, and really made me look at fitness in a different perspective, especially when it comes to profession, knowledge-wise, exposure-wise. Yeah, till now, I've never looked back. Yeah.
What are some of the things you learned that, like you said, revolutionized your perspective on fitness?
Yeah, some of the things I learned. Knowledge really plays a big role. Yeah, you just can't come to the gym one day and start lifting everything you find. There is repercussion in everything and anything that you do in the gym. So the knowledge aspect really, I think the knowledge aspect is the foundation of everything. Knowledge aspect and professionalism and the output in the long run. That's interesting, because you just said you're genetically gifted, and it's interesting. I find it interesting because you're genetically gifted, but you saw the value in the knowledge. Yeah.
And I think sometimes people who are genetically gifted, they take for granted that you need the knowledge.
Sure.
And I think it's a positive thing. It's a good thing that you saw the need for that. And that's why we're here today, is to help people 100%. Who are listening, because some people have the genetics, but without the knowledge, like you said, it's easy to get hurt.
Yeah.
That's really cool. But going back, your mother did boxing.
Yeah.
That's not, you don't hear that very often.
Yeah.
And also the fact that you didn't pick it up at that point. How did it not catch you before football?
I have a big brother who used to be so much into football. So wherever I used to go for practice, he used to carry me along. Okay. And that really made it, because we used to be good friends, despite us being siblings. We used to be good friends. So him bringing me along his football practices made it much interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, back in the days, we used to be in the same primary school, and he used to be the captain. So whenever they used to have tournaments, he used to find a way of fixing me. So
rigging. Call it rigging.
A class 6 kid playing with class 8, and I would outshine them easily. Nice. It was so interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So now forward into your understanding more about fitness.
Yeah.
Did you venture immediately into being a trainer, or did you take some time before you decided to become a trainer?
No. As I said there before, I started as a boxer, amateur boxer. I did it for almost 1.5 years, just boxing only. In fact, my aim was to turn pro. Now, back in the days, Floyd used to be that guy. Money May. So that was the goal. But it reached a point whereby after I lost the last fight, so that's when I started looking at fitness in a different perspective, in the sense that the coach who used to coach me back then, I would look at his life and me seeing myself at that age doing what he used to do, it didn't add up.
How come?
Because truth of the matter is, boxing in Kenya doesn't pay. Doesn't pay. In fact, there's a high chance most of the sports played here, it doesn't really pay it's supposed to be paying. True. Yeah, so I think that really made me have a different thought about everything. Now look so much into fitness, maybe in a different perspective. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now moving on from boxing, you said you started lifting weights more.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your experience? So going back to who you were in that moment,
Yeah.
How did you start off? Did you just wake up one day, you're like, I'm going to start lifting? And how did you start?
Let me give you a short story back then. So back then we used to be a group of around 12 boxers who used to come for practice on a regular basis. So everyone, we used to be almost at the same level, all of us. But over time I came to realize I used to watch Mike Tyson a lot. So through watching Mike Tyson's training, I came to realize one of the ways Mike Tyson really improved on his craft was through weights training. So after training, while guys were going back home, I used to remain in the gym because it used to be a boxing gym. At the back, it used to be a weights training gym. So I would go back, lift some weights, and over time I came to realize that my punches were improving because those times we had sparring, the outcome will be really good. In terms of, guys used to be afraid of sparring with me, which was a clear indication there's something I'm doing. The extra thing I'm doing is really working out. Through that, I learned the basics of either training. Because back in the day, I used to do more of isolation. You isolate one muscle. Now, legs used to be very important because of stability and stamina. The shoulders. Yeah. So over time, guys started realizing that this guy has a certain physique. And if we look at the pictures back then, it's totally different from the guy we are seeing right now. So guys, they had a slight idea of what I was doing, but I don't really know if they knew exactly what I was doing. Yeah. So through the basics, made it much easier to transition. And then afterwards, in the long run, I told myself, because at least where I'm at right now, I understand the basics of training weights, the outcome, the output. Yeah, why not?
Did you have guidance?
Yeah, I used to have guidance. Yeah, because in the same gym there used to be a certain trainer who used to be so good in terms of physique, slight knowledge, and we used to be good friends. In fact, they reached a point where I used to train for free off picks. It really made it much interesting. Yeah, so through that, yeah, it really resulted into a very good output. Yeah.
What do you think was the main thing that helped you see results as a beginner?
Consistency. One, consistency. Two, slight knowledge. Knowledge in terms of, I always tell especially beginners, it's very good to understand the muscles by name. At least it puts you in a different level mentally. Because at least I could understand chest. There's some exercise guys do, and then they don't really know which muscles they target. They just do it because the trainer says you should do this, or influencers say do this, so as you can see this here. So back in the days, knowledge, consistency, being hungry for more, hungry for more. And I used to put much emphasis on tracking my progress in terms of what I'm lifting. Slight things, what I'm lifting. If 2 months ago I was to squat 40 kgs, let me try 50 kgs. Yeah. It used to come with a lot of repercussions in the sense that at times I would get slight injuries and I couldn't understand what is happening to my body.
How do you approach your clients today to avoid giving them the wrong mentality about fitness? What's the process you go through? What are some of your philosophies with trying to bring someone on slowly, giving them the right info?
Yeah. It's a very, very good question. And I think here's where some guys tend to go wrong. As soon as you get a client, after maybe having to know each other, we normally call it introduction. So the second most important thing is assessment. Try and understand the physical and the anatomy of this client. Because I always tell clients, we are all made differently, built differently, nature-wise. So what this other person can do might be so difficult for you. It doesn't matter how simple it might look. For example, squats. There's some guys who are so good when it comes to back squats, and there are some other guys who are so good when it comes to front squat. Now, why am I saying this? Looking at it in a in a biomechanic aspect. Now the biomechanics, the movement aspect will tell the difference. Yeah, so assessment comes in handy. So if you assess a client, you'll know the pros and cons of this client. Now you'll know the weaknesses. Key thing is the weaknesses. Yeah. Now apart from that, I always tell people it's best to stick with basics. Basics, because most of these clients aren't bodybuilders. So instead of complicating exercises by making them do things that other influencers, especially Instagram influencers, are doing, it's rather you stick to basics. Now basics, what I mean is compound exercise, because the client isn't trying to be a bodybuilder. All they want is to be physically fit. So sticking to compound exercises will really come in handy. Yeah, so key thing is introduction, assessment, try and understand the client's physical appearance, weaknesses, strengths. Yeah. Now, most of these clients, I've come to realize, especially the older the client is, there's a high chance a couple of years back, he was somehow into fitness in one way or another.
And then they either got injured,
yeah, they either
someone,
got lack of motivation. They decided to maybe call it... yeah. So most of them, they tend to have a very good background of fitness. Now, one of the questions as a trainer you should ask yourself is why
did they stop?
Why did they stop? There must be a reason as to why they stopped. Yeah. So those are some of the key things I normally put into account whenever I'm interacting with a beginner or a new client. Yeah.
Mindset is really important. I think of my mom, for example. Yeah. There was, during the pandemic, there was someone in the neighborhood who started this boot camp thing. Yeah. And they were training a group. They would train a big group of people from the neighborhood. Yeah. But they're mixing my mom's demographic, 50 plus, age 50 plus. Yeah. But you also have 20-year-olds. You have young people, all in the same group.
That's very good. You've brought it up. Because what happens is, now this is where personal trainers normally come in. You can't really generalize everyone into one group. Everybody has different goals, different perception, different ones. Yeah. Now through isolating these people, you'll come to understand this better. Yeah. Yeah. You saying that this guy was putting everyone into one group.
Exactly.
It might be good, come to think of it, maybe when the trainer looks at it in a business perspective.
Exactly, of course. It was good business, especially during the pandemic. Yeah.
But in a long-term perspective, there's a high chance these clients might fall off.
Yeah, especially like for my mom, she didn't have a good experience because she even got hurt. She got a knee injury at that point. And then, of course, every time now she tries something, she's so worried about the knee, and she thinks that that's what fitness is about. It's like it's going to be hard, painful. You're likely to get hurt. You know, it's like that's. And I find that a lot of people have that mentality when it comes to fitness. Is that fitness people like pain? You know, no pain, no gain. That whole mentality.
Yeah. Well, now the misconception whereby guys normally think they were moto ni moto. I think should be one of the things that should be highlighted in almost all fitness programs. Yeah, because if someone has knee pains, it's a clear indication the body is trying to say something that there is something wrong. It's an indicator that there is something wrong. Now you can't really put them into one group. Yeah. Now in fact, I'm realizing putting everyone into one group at some point it might discourage some people.
For sure.
Yeah. Assuming a mom and this other group of people, they were trying to do maybe jumping jacks. And your mom can't do because of the pain, she might, in the long run, get discouraged. And she falls off.
Yeah, because I mean, what a 20-year-old can do, how are you expecting someone who's 50 plus to be able to do? It's so that the lack of awareness. Keyword. And awareness, and also I think in a sense maybe it might also be a result of just what's been the low barrier to entry to fitness in a sense. I don't know what you think, but I guess because it's almost like anybody can say they're a trainer, because there's no hard checks. You know, when it comes to personal training, unless you're trying to work for a gym, maybe they might check like your certification and
your credentials.
Whatnot. But I find that when it comes to fitness, I think the knowledge thing you're talking about has not been given as much respect as it should.
100%.
Because people think, I have sports shoes and I have a tracksuit, I can do fitness. It's as simple as that. But they don't realize that the knowledge aspect is super important. And just because someone is slim doesn't mean that they can teach you to
100%.
be fit.
Yeah. In fact, I have, I think, 3 things to say. One, most of these fit guys you see around, sorry to say, who might have maybe lack of credentials, most of them normally end up that way, mostly as a result of genetics. Someone happens to train for 3 months, 4 months, biceps starts showing up, chest and everything, and they enter into the market, and at some point, in one way or another, they start ruining things which tarnish the name of our industry. 2, our industry, I think social media these days, I don't know, hopefully one time there will be a limitation to some kind of content being posted in our social media platforms.
I don't see it happening because money.
Because most of these clients, they tend to have weird kind of questions, which if you look at it in a trainer's perspective, you'll understand that this is information sourced from social media. Most of these influencers, they really mislead our clients so much. Especially with the complicated kind of exercises, which tend to be extremely meaningless. A good example is, you see, like for you to target your triceps, you only need 3 kind of movements, either neutral, pronated, supinated. That's it. Someone comes up with a certain exercise which is so complicated just to look fancy. I think it's about that time clients, they should understand that it's all about making views, making money. It's not about information or anything. And I think that's one of the key things that is really tarnishing our industry.
It is.
100%.
It's huge.
100%.
What was the third thing you said? There was
1, genetics. 2, social media. 3, education is everything, and it's very important, especially if you look at it in a longevity perspective. I think basic. I always tell people, it doesn't have. You don't really have to maybe get a degree, PhD. You can always increase your knowledge by studying on a regular basis. So I think no one has excuse or anything.
I mean, and when we talk about knowledge is very important. And I think the point where I think we're both trying to make is the prioritizing what's right. Because even myself, when I started training, I didn't jump into certification or anything. But I was seeking out information, and over time you learn more and you seek more. I think thinking that you're going to learn everything from an influencer or one person, let's say you can't focus on, even if you're into following influencers, one person cannot necessarily teach you everything you need to know. So you have to pick as many examples as you can to be able to pick out, because what one person will give you, the other person might miss. One person might emphasize intensity, the other person might remind you about recovery, whatnot. Hi there. So I know the fitness journey can be a bit daunting, and it's for this reason that I wrote my ebook, The Basics to a Better Body. This ebook is available via the Shujaa Fitness Instagram. You can click the link in the bio or DM to receive the book. It goes for only 500 shillings. It's a quick, simple, easy way to begin your fitness journey. Fitness has a lot of times been inundated with too much information and a lot of misleading information at that, and I felt that it's necessary to come up with something that would help anybody out there who's just looking for a quick, simple way to get started on this journey. So I hope it helps you out. Just wanted to let you know that that's available. Again, go to the Shujaa Fitness Instagram, click the link in the bio or DM to receive the book, The Basics to a Better Body. It's a very easy read, not very long. Comes with 2 free workout programs, if I didn't mention already. Basically, these workout programs are very detailed. You know exactly what you need to do and how to do it. There's also links included to show you how to do each exercise. Check it out. Check out the basics to a better body, and all the best out there.
Yes.
The most attention is shown to the most shocking thing.
Yes.
And that's unfortunate, especially when it comes to fitness, because these are our bodies.
Yeah.
You get one body,
Yeah.
you mess up your body, it's done. I mean,
That's
you don't
it.
get another chance.
Yes, I think the best thing we can do for now is by advising our viewers by telling them that foundation basics tend to be very important. Stick to basics.
Yeah.
Stick to basics. That's why for a building to be constructed, they tend to focus
The foundation.
on the foundation. Yeah, stick to basics. Complicated kind of exercises, they're not really necessary, especially if you're not trying to train for bodybuilding, athletics. Yeah, so stick to basics. Stick to basics.
Yeah.
Stick to basics.
What has been your experience as a trainer so far? How do you think you continue to grow? What are the things that help you day to day growing? How has your career been? Do you currently train at a specific gym?
Yeah.
Are there people you credit with helping you come this far with either your fitness or the business? How's the business treating you?
Yeah, the experience so far, it's so far so good when it comes to experience. So basically what I do is I'm a freelancer. I tend to move from either one gym to another or from people's home, from one home to another. Now the experience so far so good. Every day it's a learning process. You tend to learn a lot of things, especially from different clients with different personalities. Now one of the things that I've really come to learn all along is good client relation tends to go a long way. What do I mean? You presenting yourself as a professional comes in handy 100%. Guys view you from how you present yourself. So their perception is the way our trainer carries himself, that's who he or she is really. That's the personality of this kind of person. So you having a good relation, presenting yourself in a professional way, seeking knowledge. Because what happens with fitness, things tend to evolve over time. Research is done on a regular basis. In fact, I was reading something the other day. They were saying for us to grow our calves, it's not a matter of dorsiflexion or plantar flexion. It's a matter of stretching your calves on a regular basis will make it grow.
Okay,
it was a recent study done by a certain scientist, a very popular scientist in America.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the name of the? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's called. Is a very popular Skewfield or something. Skewfield.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very popular.
And as East Africans, we need that information.
that information. Yeah,
because genetically we're not gifted with calves.
Now that's why most of the white guys tend to have good calves.
That's new to me. Okay, I'll check that out.
So another thing is try to keep up with the trend, because fitness is evolving. We can't really stick to aerobics, step aerobics. Yeah, because research is saying that if you stick to one thing for a very long time, there's a high chance you might fall off because it will end up being boring. So it's rather you incorporate a lot of activities to make it interesting and something you'll always look forward to.
I think also with the sticking to one thing, there's also I believe it's been proven that the effect lessens over time. And that's why we have workout programs that run a certain amount of weeks and it ends because things stop having an effect up to a point. And I think those are things that good trainers will look out for are you constantly giving someone the same exercises? And again, there's a balance, because you don't want to give them those complicated things you said happen on social media, but at the same time there has to be some variation, because your body adaptations.
For example, if you happen to do a bicep curl over and over again, there reaches a point whereby your bicep muscles will adapt to that particular exercise. Now what will happen, the muscles will harden, but in terms of nourishment, biceps looking full, you need a couple of exercises, because if according to how the name sounds, bicep, it's made up of 2 muscles. You can't really stick to one exercise because there will be another muscle which will be left out. So that's why you have to do a couple of variations. Now these variations, you stick to basics. They don't have to be so much complicated. Yeah. So yeah.
True that. I think that's very helpful. Do you have some tips or tricks, let's say that you help your clients with consistency? Because I mean consistency always comes up when we talk about fitness because it's the key to everything we do. What are some of the ways you help your clients stay consistent?
One, as I've said there before, is using variations. Yes, just to break the monotony. 2, by constantly doing a follow-up. Follow-up might be after the exercise or even during the exercise. 3, try to find out what the client likes doing in terms of maybe passion, a certain exercise that this client likes. 3, try to focus on. I normally use 3 principles. Principle number 1, comfortability. So if this client isn't comfortable with doing squats, it's rather I look for a different alternative which will make the client consistent when it comes to training lower body. 2, stability. If the client isn't stable, there'll be a lot of injuries. The client is prone to injuries, especially when it comes to joints. Yeah, for example, a person who is doing squats, if you're not stable, your hip, knees, ankles, they tend to be prone to injuries. 3, efficiency. Efficiency in terms of is it effective? If the client happens to be doing squats, will it be effective to the quad muscles, hamstring, glutes? Is it effective? Alafu sasa this comes, you see what I've said, by constantly interacting with the client, especially during the exercise. The client will easily tell you. Because I came to realize over time, what works best for me might not work for you. So if this client happens to squat and he or she starts feeling pain around the lumbar spine, it's a clear indication it doesn't work for him or her. So it's rather you use a different variation. I think through that, you tend to keep the client consistent. Yeah, that's
really huge, and it's come up before with someone else I spoke to, is the enjoyment side. It's impossible to think that you're going to program for someone a heavy bodybuilding schedule, and they don't like it, and then they'll stick to it. We're human. Sure. We don't do things we don't like.
100%.
You know, in every sector of life, we
putting in mind that working out at some point isn't that interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of the outcome.
Yeah.
Soreness.
Yeah. There's definitely a moment where you have to get through the struggle.
Yeah.
There's that moment of it's going to suck.
Yeah.
I don't feel like waking up to go to the gym, whatnot.
Yeah.
But it reaches a point where you find your place and you find the things you enjoy, and those things keep you going back to the gym.
Nutrition tends to be a very delicate field. 100%. Yeah. Now, because the main purpose of us being here is speaking about fitness, I believe nutrition plays a very big role when it comes to the general aspect of fitness. So there's a lot of misconception when it comes to nutrition, where guys tend to think calories in, calories out is everything. But come to think of it, quality is very much important compared to quantity. Quality plays a very big role.
So the calories in, calories out, I think I agree with that, because 100 calories of something that is mostly fat, sugar, and carbs
100%.
is not the same as 100 calories of something that is a lot of vitamins, protein, and maybe some good carbs, because carbs are in everything.
Yes.
So quality is a huge...
Quality.
Yeah, because, I mean, at the end of the day, just when I was speaking to someone who is in the nutrition field, is you realize the degree to which all these things affect our health. So 100%. Even if your calories are on point, and you're not taking enough vitamins, fiber, whatnot, you're not really helping yourself in the long run.
100%.
Yeah, so we have to look at everything holistically.
Yes, in fact, I was so shocked yesterday to discover that most of these manufactured or processed kind of meals we have, they tend to have a very huge amount of sugar content in it.
Yeah.
Which really makes sense if you look at it in this perspective, whereby most of these processed kind of meals, they tend to be so sweet compared to the natural or organic kind of meals.
Even like peanut butter. If you take the Skippies, all those random ones, the peanut butters that are in the same shelf as Kina Blue Band and Jam, if you are to taste the difference between that one and, for example, if you go to Carrefour, they make their own peanut butter. If you taste that one versus the one that's next to the Blue Bands and all that, you'll notice how much sweeter the one with the Blue Band and all is. Then you look at you read the nutrition and you're like, oh, there's sugar in this one, so obviously it's sweet.
And that's why most of the nutritionists tend to advocate more of less processed meals to the processed ones, because most of these processed ones, it doesn't matter if it's whole grain or anything. Look at the ingredients or the ingredient content, you'll discover that these guys tend to use a lot of sugars, which tend to interfere with the calories.
Completely.
100%. There was a certain documentary I was watching some time back, which was saying, you see the calories written on this processed kind of meals. It's an estimation. It might be plus 20 or minus 20. So I know some viewers back at home might be using kitchen scale. They might have used kitchen scale for quite some time, and then at one point or another they might not be seeing the changes they need. So I think that's a very good information to let them know. It's interesting. Another
thing I discovered not too long ago, I didn't discover it, but I learned, I guess maybe a few years now, is, you know how there's this tendency for people to think, low fat, I'll buy the low fat version. Low fat versions of things usually have higher sugar, because 100%. When you reduce the fat in something, it tastes worse. So you need to add sugar to make it taste better. So you take, like, the example that always comes to mind is digestive, the biscuits. They now have a low fat, I don't know if it's 50% or whatever percent less fat. And if you look, for sure, like I tested it myself, if you look behind, you'll see that the normal ones have way less sugar. They have a bit more fat, but less sugar. The less fat ones have more sugar. So you're thinking, I'll get biscuits, but I'll get the low fat one. But you're actually having more sugar. And preservatives and all that stuff. The main reason is why most of these companies do what they're doing is for business purposes. They're here to make money. Now they definitely know if there is no sugar in their products, in terms of purchase, the purchase rate will be quite low. Of course, because it doesn't taste as good, and we like things that taste good. So at the end of the day, we're consumers, and those are the things that it takes to sell to us. 100%. Unfortunately, so all the social media, complicated exercise with our sugary food, we love it.
We love it, sure.
Unfortunately, How has fitness improved your life overall? How would you say it's helped you outside of the physical?
In terms of socializing, it has really boosted my self-esteem. It has really made me meet so many people from different walks of life. It has really made me learn a lot about myself in terms of my personality and stuff. Now, looking at it in a business perspective, it's a very good, very, very good venture, especially for anyone who is business minded. You'll understand yourself when it comes to persistence, resilience, because what happens is the personal training business isn't that consistent. It's normally seasonal. It normally fluctuates time to time. For example, at the beginning of the year, everyone wants to go back to the gym and get the ideal body, but as the months move by, guys tend to fall off. If you look at in a business perspective, we tend to kind of go astray, especially when it comes to regular income. Yes. But all in all, it has really helped me understand the whole concept. It has really helped to boost my self-esteem, as I've said. It has really made me meet a lot of people from different walks of life. So it's a very good adventure. You tend to learn a lot of things, especially about the human body. Yeah, it's a very nice adventure.
As far as your own business itself, what let the viewers know what the specifics about what you offer, where you operate, whether your contacts, your social media, all that type of stuff.
Yes. So as I've said there before, I'm a personal trainer. Now I'm majorly based around Westlands. Now what I normally do on a regular basis, it's weight training when it comes to hypertrophy, weight loss, rehabilitation, biomechanics, and understanding fit. I normally perceive myself as a very good advocate when it comes to fitness, when it comes to the knowledge aspect. I normally put much emphasis
on the knowledge aspect. Yeah, it seems to have come up a lot in the things you're saying, which is a good thing.
Knowledge aspect, because knowledge is power. Now knowledge can really make you reach greater heights. And apart from knowledge, there's something we normally call execution, which is a very different aspect from knowledge. Someone might be very knowledgeable, but the mechanism on how to execute the knowledge might be a problem. I don't even make sense. So execution tends to be a very important factor. It's very essential. So maybe guys should think deep on that. So that I normally major around those. When it comes to social media, and you can look for my page called Fitness with QQ254. You'll find everything that I do over there.
There's something I appreciate about what I saw on your profile, which is one of the reasons I wanted to speak to you. And it's funny because I feel like you don't know what people are looking at when you do what you do.
Yes.
But then having met you and talked to you about what you think about fitness and how you do it, it confirms what I saw, which I didn't even share with you. Is I saw the way I saw your form on IG. I saw the way you do your exercises, and I was like, this is someone who takes it seriously, because your form is is really good. I think I saw you do deadlifts on one of your posts, and I was like, this is a guy who knows what he's talking about. 100%. So I really, those small things matter a lot.
Small details matter 100%.
So I think you're a solid person for anyone who wants to work with you. I think they would benefit a lot from that knowledge and knowing that you're keen on the small details, even for yourself. 100%. See, especially when I'm training, I normally put much emphasis on the form compared to the load, because form is everything. Because I always tell myself as a personal trainer, my body is everything. If anything was to happen to my limbs, my back, I'm out of business completely. So when it comes to form and technique, I normally put much emphasis. And on top of that, you seek more knowledge. You understand. You must understand that everyone has a different anatomical structure, so things work differently for everyone. Now you don't have to do squats for you to develop your quads. There is so many alternatives. Now these alternatives might be very comfortable in terms of longevity for each and every person individually. So some of the key things that I normally put much emphasis on. Nice. I really appreciate that. As you've seen and as you will see on his page, and hopefully that's come out in our conversation, is he values what's right. And from my assessment, I think this is someone who is worth reaching out to if you'd like to learn more about his services. If you want to know more about fitness, maybe there's something that you feel like you'd like more explanation, reach out to us either on his Instagram page or even reach out to us at Shujaa_fitness. If you have more questions about fitness or anything we've talked about today, feel free to reach out and ask more. We really appreciate you for taking your time.
Yeah,
thank you for
100%.
sharing your story.
Yeah.
I think hopefully in the future we'll be able to work together, maybe have you back.
Yeah,
the more you
100%.
learn, the more you can share.
Yeah.
You've taught me something new today about the calves. I'll definitely research that
Yeah.
and check out more information about that. But
Okay.
again, I really appreciate your time.
100%.
Yeah, asante sana.
Yeah, hata mimi nimeshukuru sana.
Anything else you'd like to share before we end the show?
Yeah, maybe one last thing.
Mhm.
Just to encourage anyone out there. Fitness tend to be among the best investments one can make. Come to think of it, they were saying that in America, obesity in fact, for the last 10, 20 years, obesity has been among the leading causes of most illnesses, because of most of the foods in America tend to be processed.
Yep.
Last year, before the end of last year, I had a couple of friends, we were hanging around, they were from America. They were saying, for you to eat, it's so much cheaper for someone to eat junks in the US compared to eating
healthy.
quality meal, eating healthy, which is slightly different from what's happening here.
Here we have, it's available to us.
Yeah, it's available. And in fact, it's the other way around. Here it's much cheaper to eat healthy than to eat junks.
Yep.
So I think for us, we are so lucky to be in a very good situation whereby we have different varieties when it comes to what we really want, especially for our health. So they normally say health is wealth. So anyone out there, if you think of investing in your health, it's a very good investment, because in the long run, it will be so bad for you to invest all this amount of money in the hospital.
Yep, because that's where it will end up.
Hey, it will end up here. So above that, I want to appreciate for this opportunity. It's a very good platform for knowledge awareness, especially when it comes to fitness. Yeah, for viewers back at home, I've been your trainer Ineah, or trainer QQ. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, asante sana, man.
Yes.
I appreciate you once again for making the time.
Yeah.
I hope you've learned as much as you can from this episode. Again, ask us questions, reach out to us on social media. Let us know what other conversations you'd like us to have. Until the next episode, thank you very much. Peace out.
Peace out.
All right.
Perfect.
Good stuff. Thank you for listening to the Shujaa Fitcast. For more information and business inquiries, email us at shujaafitnesswarrior@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at Shujaa_fitness on Instagram, at Shujaa Fitness on Facebook and TikTok, and subscribe to our channel at Shujaa Fitness on YouTube. For audio versions of this podcast, check us out on Spotify, Boomplay, and Apple Podcasts. This show was recorded and produced at the Represented Studio in Nairobi, Kenya. Special thanks to Lucid for the background music.